Scott, you have about 4.1, is that right?
What's that new color?
100,000.
We are down to 5 in this year's 100K tournament. Welcome back to the PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure from Atlantis, the 10th ever PCA. It's James Hartigan, Joe Stapleton, and Lee Jones is back with us.
Yes, he is, and he's glad to be here. This is fun.
By the way, Victor tweeted that he made more money in the last 3 days in Full Tilt than he did his entire PCA trip last year, including his cash in this event.
Wow, it's been a good day, good few days for him and a bad few days for some other people.
Well, you heard him. He doesn't bluff anymore.
So blinds are up to 30 and 60,000 with a 10,000 ante, and as we can see, Carrie Katz is playing 12 bigs, Phil Gruesome 16 bigs. They need to make something happen fast. Doc Sand still the big chip leader with 120 big blinds, a stack of nearly 7.2 million. Scott Seaver second on the leaderboard with 3.9 million, 65 big blinds. And sandwich in the middle is this guy, Nick Schulman.
30-60.
First to speak here under the gun. He folds.
Nick Schulman is, I believe, born and bred New Yorker. Gotta wonder why he's sporting the Chief Wahoo.
Didn't Nick Schulman used to be Eugene Kachelov's best buddy until Elke came along?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if there's any problems from that. Any passive-aggressive Facebook posts? If you guys have the scoop, let us know. Hashtag at PCALive. I love the drama.
Gruesome moves all in from the button with Jack 10 suited.
You said he needed to make something happen, James. He's making something happen somehow.
Doc Sands asked for a count. Sand has just asked on Twitter for some action. Sorry, it's a raise and take it hand.
What, losing 3 players in the first level and a half wasn't enough action for you, Sander?
And he yawns in return. I like that dealer's watch. That is cool right there.
So a reminder of the free roll password, $1,500 in prize money up for grabs. Won't cost you a cent to enter as long as you enter that password, Blom, B-L-O-M. We just talked about the guy. You want to enter the free roll, find it in the PCA section of the PokerStars tournament lobby. Blom is the password.
I have a confession to make. Lee just mentioned how he likes the dealer's watch, but the graphic came up over it just as you said that. I tried to look under the graphic. I craned my neck to see if I could somehow look under the graphic at the watch. That's
Excuse me a second.
It's just Diet Coke, I swear.
Yeah.
It is just Diet Coke.
Absolutely. But the caffeine gets to me.
It's the caffeine. Keep telling yourself it's the caffeine.
There goes Carrie Katz.
Well, Sandy, you've had 2 all-ins in a row.
Oh, he's got tons of equity here.
You guys might be laughing, but he does have tons of equity no matter what Doc's got.
Now it's Phil Gruesome's turn to yawn.
It's so boring being at a table where you're playing for $2 million. You know, in fact, if I'm Carrie Katz at this point, I really wouldn't mind a call. I mean, he needs to make some chips.
As long as he's thinking about it, you don't mind a call.
Yeah, sure.
I wish my name was a command, like Carrie Katz.
I got a big hand. I'll show it to you.
Why would you do that? I've never understood this. Poker is a game of information.
Well, I think in a lot of
anything you're thinking about.
In a lot of cases, the folks that don't play as often, I think it is genuinely they just want the pros to like them and to be buddies with them. And I noticed this on the big game a lot, that the loose cannon was always an amateur. And it seemed like a lot of the time they just wanted to get in good with Daniel or with Doyle or whoever, so they would show, and then everyone feels like they're part of the gang and they're all hanging out and
I'm giving you free information.
Absolutely, but you know, that's not as worth it as much to them as it is just to be pals with the pros of the table.
So a reminder that you can now watch our live streams on your cellular device thanks to the PokerStars TV mobile app, the latest version which was released this morning. Download it now to your iPhone or Android device. It does also work on the iPad, but it's not optimized for the iPad screen. Hopefully we can fix that soon. Hopefully by the time we go to Deauville, because for the next leg of the EPT, and I don't even know if you're aware of this, Lee, this is really exciting. We are going to be live streaming every single day of the EPT main event.
Wow, that's going to be a lot of webcast.
Randy Dorfman's head just exploded.
From day 1A through to the final table, you can watch every single hand of that tournament.
With us, James Hartigan and Joe Stapleton. And maybe Lee Jones.
You know, like when people fold it.
Hey,
like, right at the
Deauville's a
line.
great town.
I've never been. I'm excited to go.
A long arm for granted here.
I've been saving up my euros.
It is one of my favourite stops on the European Poker Tour. A, because it's the only tournament I've actually ever played rather than just commentated on.
Oh, that's nice. The main event?
Yeah, in Season 1. But also, that casino has a lot of history, and I always...
What James Bond movie took place there, James?
No James Bond movie took place there, and I bring this fact out all the time, so apologies to regular viewers who have to hear it for the 78th time in 5 years. The Casino Royale that Ian Fleming wrote about in the 1953 novel was based on the casino at Deauville.
Wow.
James Bond related. I get credit.
Yeah, I think you read the hand quite well,
Yeah.
Joey.
I said he had aces when he had kings.
When you're really big time, Johnny will just go to you, though.
I don't like it because he doesn't have the hot shave thing with him.
You're right. Okay, so you're pro, you're expert.
I'm big time enough for it. Plus, it's really
Big time Johnny knowledge
it's a
here.
hassle to clean up the bathroom.
How much do you have?
1 million and something.
I actually truly believe that Phil Gruesome does believe himself to have 1 million something.
I'm all in.
Scott Seaver shoves.
Oh, nice.
Reroll spot. Good one, first good one.
Yeah, it's enough.
This is going to be a call.
Yeah, call.
There it is.
It's a queen and an 8. Yeah, he saw the ace first and said, that's all I need.
Well, the movie was on, like...
King, Queen suited for Scott Seaver. Ace-8 off for Phil Gruesome.
70-30.
That was one of the more nonchalant calls I've seen.
In a 100K
Nice read, Lee.
table.
So Gruesome actually not that far ahead.
Nah, king, queen suited. Quing, as I like to call it. Very strong.
Gotta have the scooter.
Yeah.
Feel naked without it.
I actually remember
Gruesome
my headphones
needs that
falling
ace
out.
high to hold. He's the player at risk.
Well, if someone steals them.
Let's see the flop, please.
The flop has a
And there's
queen
the
on
queen.
it. So now Gruesome needs to improve. Gruesome looking for an ace.
That king, queen makes a great top pair. All of a sudden,
5-5.
Gruesome was ahead. Now he's down to a 3-outer.
We're on the verge of losing Philip Gruesome from the super high roller. He's on the verge of becoming our 5th place finisher unless there is an ace on the river. 3 outs for the German. It's a 4. Phil Gruesome goes out in 5th. He'll collect $400,700, and we are down to 4.
All right. Good
After 47 hands at this final table, we are already 4-handed.
Did you say good hand, not?
No, I said good.
We're going to get an instant replay of the flop.
This is what we have to see right there. The look of defeat on young, poor Philip Gruesome's face.
Well, he's not poor. That's one thing he's not at this point.
Absolutely. Phil Gruesome has had a lot of success in high roller events in the last 12 months. He won the high roller event in London, and here he is with a big 6-figure cash in this tournament.
I meant poor
Oh my
figuratively, not literally.
It's worth pointing out, though, Lee, that Phil Gruesome did have to reload on day 1. So he's in this tournament for 200 rather than 100K. But that's still 100% return on investment.
Right.
I only made $200,000 in a poker tournament.
This is
Wah!
not even worth going after. 1 blind? Come on, guys.
Yeah, and Kerry
There's really
Katz
nothing
is
in
going
there
to,
to steal.
I mean,
Thus, when I
He
raised
just
it,
laddered up
probably
quite a bit. He went from almost assuredly getting $400,000 to another $143,100 coming his way.
Absolutely. So he's the low man with
I know
13
Scott's
bigs.
going all in.
Nick Shillman sitting on 32 big blinds. And the gap between Sands and Seaver is narrowing all the time.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I write a check to Kerry Katz every month, by the way. Still paying off those Boston University
Yeah, he's
bills.
only 5'2".
Reasonable interest rates, though.
How much do you have, Josh?
Me?
Yeah.
he keeps asking that.
Okay.
Just think of it as 120 blinds.
Scott Seaver may be trying to encourage Doc to finally get aggressive with his big stack.
One of those white ones out there.
How much do you have again?
Trunk.
You sure you don't want to raise more often?
Is that his raising move every time?
The
Reaches out
skill
and just,
crane, I like to call that the skill crane.
Oh, I should be going all in with that.
Then why did
Beat ace 4? Show it. Oh, I had you dominated.
I guess you should have gone all in then. Carry cats.
You saw it wrong.
And so what is it that Carry Cats does
Had you
that
dominated,
makes
I could've
him...
tied
He
you.
owns a company that I believe that gives out student loans. It's the 7th largest student loan company in the United States.
Wow.
I think what we need, Stapes, is another round of your competition. We are guessing how much things cost in
How
the
much does it cost to go to Boston University after taking out $400,000 worth of loans from Carrie Katz's loan corporation?
Specifically, we're looking at how much things cost here at the Atlantis Resort. And remember, Price is Right rules apply. You cannot go over. So the nearest guess that is under the actual figure or is spot on the actual figure will win. And we'll only go through the first 5 answers. Otherwise, we'll be here all day reeling off numbers from Twitter. Use the hashtag PCALive. Stapes, what's the next one? Oh, hang on a second. Oh, raise and take it. Do it.
Now, James Hardigan, don't let the British accent fool you. He is absolutely quite prissy and only drinks bottled water everywhere.
Can I just point out,
Yes.
though, that because what you call bottled water is sometimes
You got like 5.2
tap
now,
water
I
in a
guess?
bottle.
That's what I drink, yes.
Yeah.
Tap water in a bottle. 1 bottle, that'll do me for the trip. Fill it right up in the bathroom.
No, no.
Sometimes the bottle's too big for the sink, you use the toilet.
I drink mineral water. There is a difference.
Whoa. And typically imported. But James had a slum it this week and drink American bottled water. What is this?
Crystal Geyser.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad.
I'm a fan of Crystal Geyser.
Can you tell the difference, James? Like if we blindfolded you?
Yes.
He
I
can.
once, when I used to do
Sadly, he
my
can.
when I used to do my radio show, Leah, I actually took the Pepsi challenge with a variety of waters, including Tap and various bottle brands, and I could tell the difference between Tap, Highland Spring, Vittel, Evian, and Volvic.
That's strong. That's extremely strong. Or sick. I'm not sure which one.
It's extremely arrogant, spoiled. Any other adjectives come to mind?
Because I have
Tweet us.
Tweet us your
Hashtag
adjectives.
PCA Live.
You should all be bowing at my awesomeness.
All right, before we get to that, James has got something for us.
Yeah, let's remind us of who we lost earlier on today. If you have just joined us and are wondering why we're playing 4-handed rather than 8-handed, Dan Shack was the first to go on only the 3rd hand of the day. Then Vladimir Troinovsky ran 10s into aces. Whoops. Greg Jensen, one of the amateur players, he went out next. And then we just lost Phil Gruesome in 5th place. Ace-8 crushed by King Queen.
Imagine they just take the chips out of play. Yeah. It's like, oh, these chips
So
don't
at least
exist
half of
anymore.
James's salary on every trip goes to buying bottled water. We want to know, how much does it cost here at the Atlantis gift shop for 1 liter
All the moves, I love it.
of Crystal Geyser water? Closest without going over is the winner. First 5 answers on the board are accepted.
Okay, let's go through the answers then. Divine, $4. All That Raz, $3.25. Rexus, $3.50. Sapler, $4.49. And Experts Miller, $9.95.
Well, $9.95 is slightly over. Slightly. Looks like our winner was Sapler.
Whose real name is Olaf.
Olaf, who guessed $3 and
No, we had a guess in the 4s.
$4.49 is the closest we got without going over. $4.95 for a liter of water here.
But it's very good water. It's very, very good
That's
water.
not even the most expensive one. I believe the Smart Water.
Fiji is the most expensive here, by the way.
They didn't have Fiji in that particular gift
They
shop.
did. It was in the fridge.
Oh.
They have it on the stands. It was
But
only
they
in
had
the
they had it
fridge.
behind the counter
was-
because it was so expensive,
Exactly.
like with the expensive vodkas.
It was in the
It had
fridge
electronic tags on it, so
with
if you
a
walked out the door
padlock
with
on
it.
it. Yeah, exactly. You gotta call a customer service agent with a key to get at the Fiji. How much was the Fiji?
$7 for a liter.
Oh, the Smart Water was only $6.50.
Bonus. Should have bought it.
Nick Schulman is flop top pair here.
And we're playing Guess Seaver's cards.
Yeah, Scott Seaver, the ringleader,
Raise a $4.25.
raising here.
Just to recap the pre-flop action, Shulman raised small to big, and Seaver defended. And in the face of this C-bet from Shulman, Seaver's made it 400,000 total.
Doesn't necessarily mean that Seaver has a hand. He knows that Nick is going to continue a lot of the time.
Shulman with top pair. How's he going to respond?
don't think he can fold. He doesn't have a ton of chips to just call.
Wow. I mean, if he calls here, then basically the rest of them are going in. I mean, what card is he going to turn that makes him think, okay, my...
That he can fold,
Yeah, exactly. It's like either you go for it here. As a matter of fact, I don't think he has... If I'm going to play the hand, I'm going to shove right here.
Yeah. And Nick Schulman, not your average player.
And he's like 100 times better than I am, so...
Exactly, exactly. And having said that, I don't know how you fold top pair here.
425 total.
I think in this spot, Scott's way more likely, not more likely, but at least in the last time we saw him bet big, he's more likely in this spot to be bluffing. Or at least for Nick to be ahead. Plus, given that Nick made that big fold before.
Wow, look at this. He called. Okay, nice read, Lee. Got it right on.
No, it is a re-raise.
No,
That
it
is
is a
a re-raise.
raise.
That is a
It's
re-raise.
not an all-in, but it's a raise.
Now, we have seen one of Scott's cards, Lee. We know he has a king, but we don't know what his kicker is, and we haven't seen what suit the king is.
I mean, that makes things really interesting. Scott would be defending with a lot of kings.
He shoves.
Scott shoved. Nick can't fold.
Call.
Shulman
does
calls.
I think he re-raises kings better than 10.
I think you're right, Lee. I think that Nick's ahead, especially given that nod. No, King
Look
Jack.
at that.
Wow.
Look at that. That was just, there's just nothing any of them are going to do there.
And Shulman is now at risk and behind. Scott Seaver with King Jack.
Scott way out in front.
Shulman looking for a 10. Or we are already down to 3.
Or my cows.
Deuce does nothing for Shulman. Now just a 10. No runner possibilities with that deuce.
If there's no 10 on the river, we lose Nick Shulman in 4th place. Can he pull a 3-outer on the river? It's a 10!
Wow!
Whoa.
It's a 10!
Whoa.
Nick Shulman doubles up through Scott Seaver with a lucky 10 on the river. And you said we were due a suck out, Stapes.
I didn't say suck out. I said brutal suck out. And I think a 12% shot qualifies as 2 brutals.
Well, that evens things out now between Seaver and Shulman.
Look at Shulman. He looks like he's reading the menu at Mesa Grill.
Please explain.
No, I mean just no emotion.
Oh, sure,
It's just,
yeah.
just
no,
like,
he's just-
oh yeah, I just hit a 3-outer.
It happens.
You know.
You see, when I read the menu at Mesa Grill, you do get emotion.
Yeah, my eyes are like, what?
How much for a steak?
James, do you want to split half a steak with me and 2 other people?
Carry
Unless Lee's
Cats
buying.
down to 11 big blinds. Pretty even between Shulman and Seaver. Shulman now with the edge, officially second on the leaderboard. Should point out this is now an All-American final table now that we've lost Phil Gruesome.
You know, I was going to say that, and I thought, no, Stapes and I will be like more subtle about that. We'll let you be the one to notice.
I don't know the meaning of the word subtle. Seriously, though, what does it mean? Oh, you mean subtle. Subtly. I got it. Sorry. Just wanted to spell it out for me.
Hello to Emma, who says, I've just realized the best use of the new iPad so far. I can watch the PCALive web stream.
Ding!
Yay.
Emma, you are our favorite person on Twitter at the moment.
After ourselves, of course. Lee Jones, what's your Twitter handle? Plug your Twitter.
Oh my goodness, Lee H. Jones.
Lee H. Jones. There it is. A lot of other Lee Joneses out there.
There are some other Lee Joneses out there, and I
Man,
assume
F
Tommy
those
Lee
guys.
and Ricky Lee and all those people are out there. So
Oh, man. There's only one Lee H. Jones in my book. He is an insurance salesman from Montana. But if I had to pick a second one,
that would be me.
it would be
right?
this Lee H. Jones sitting
There you
right
go.
next to me.
So we've seen 51 hands now at this final table. Still 5 players. Carry Cat's still the short stack. I think he must be playing around 11 big blinds now.
And Scott Seaver is looking a little bit frustrated.
Under the gun raise from Doc Sands here. An action has been folded
One would hope Carrie Katz would only have 2 moves.
to Cats in the big blind. Queen Jack off.
Seems fine to me with 11 bigs. Yeah, except
No,
it's going to call.
no,
That's cool.
no.
No, it's no bigs. Don't worry about it. Look, this guy's a Beschnefly billionaire, okay? He could do what he wants.
He's a what?
Beschnefly billionaire. I don't know if he's actually a billionaire, but he is Beschnefly.
But I watched him count it out. I don't know.
8-9-7 with 2 spades.
Now what do you do? Now what do you do, Carry Cats? Apparently he's ahead of Doc Sands 2 blanks. Very small bet. Almost feels like he wants Cats to shove on him. Cats just calls. You're not supposed to call pre-flop. Probably not call there either. Just so everybody knows out
This
there.
is very, very strange. He defended out of an 11 big blind stack. He check called the flop.
The
With
kids
just
on the
queen
kids
high?
on the internet are calling this a very strange line.
Yeah, they're saying strange. I'm sure that's the word they're using. Well, comes brick for Queen Jack.
What does Cats do now?
Check fold, play the next hand with 6 big blinds.
He checks.
And you mean 7.5 big blinds.
Those 1.5 make all the difference.
I think Doc is about to bet his 8. Yeah.
Yeah, all in.
And Cats
Accidentally
folds.
exposes.
And Sands had 6-3 off.
Yeah.
That's the second time we've seen Queen High be good and it be folded.
I wish I had the confidence to say what I wanted to say there, which is that, like, you think he's just going to check behind any, like, medium sort of hand for showdown value. And if he bets, you know, it's pretty polarized.
So Carry Cats really short now. As we continue 5-handed at this final table, a reminder that you're watching the final of the Super High Roller, the $100,000 buy-in event. And you can get in touch with us. You can email nuts@pokerstars.tv, but the best way to get in touch, because you appear immediately in our timeline, is to use that Twitter hashtag, PCALive. And a reminder, if you want to know what's going on in the PCA main event, the Canada Cup, the ladies event, the Open Chinese tournament, check out the PokerStars blog. The team are on it.
You know, the really sick part about that last hand is if Carey shoves at any point, he wins.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If he shoves the flop, if he shoves it pre-flop.
And he knows that, too, right?
My guess is probably not until he sees this an hour later.
By the way, those of you on Twitter asking about being able to watch these live streams on your tablets and mobile phones, if you follow PokerStars, there are links on the PokerStars Twitter account to download the apps. You can also find them in the app stores. The PokerStars TV app is the specific thing you need to watch these streams.
See, I find the dynamic here at this point really interesting because that's a whole lot of hand for Scott Seaver. Because they've got Carry Cats down to 7 big blinds or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the jump is $200,000. Now, you know, that's a lot of money to me. You would think that they would be thinking, this guy is going to let himself get blinded out of the tournament. Do I really want to get involved in a pot right now?
I just don't know if laddering up is as important to these guys as going for that big score. I mean, look at the jump from second to first is 800,000, almost 800,000. So I think it is. I think you're right to say to us 200K is a lot, but these guys, not that they don't care about that amount of money, but it's less important to them as the 2 million at the top.
Scott wins it for the bet on the turn. Scott has been a lot quieter ever since he lost that hand against Shulman when the 10 came in on the river. A lucky 3-outer for Shulman. which saw him double up through Scott.
David Oppenheim just devastated on the rail.
And that's the short stack of Carry Cats.
I don't know, Joe. I can't decide. I mean, yeah, I know 200,000 means less to them than it does to us, but it's 2 buy-ins to a
You also can't
to a high roller event.
forget the ego factor that these guys they want to play against each other. You don't enter this tournament, I don't think, if like laddering up is one of your priorities, like a min cash or whatever. These guys want to be the best. They don't shy away from each other. You know, I'd fold to all these players, but these guys don't. They're like, I'm gonna win this hand. I'm gonna win every hand.
Siever's under the gun raise, flattered by Nick Shulman in the big blind.
If we get another king on the flop, we're going to see some fireworks just like last time.
No, instead it's an ace, queen, queen flop.
Both with nearly the nothing.
Shulman checks to the aggressor. And Siever continues.
130.
Shulman with just king 10 high, but this is not a hand that's always going to get folded.
Cool.
Good read, Joe.
Shulman now pairs his 10.
Check, check, check.
Both players now with the same gut shot draw. So Shulman's hand is best.
He's going, yeah, check, check, or bet call.
Yeah, and a pair of 10s will win this for Shulman. Robert asks on Twitter, what time of day is it over there? Local time, it is 4:38. That's Eastern time. Gonna hear from our 5th place finisher right now. A short while ago, we lost Philip Gruesome, busted by Scott Siever.
Yeah, I started relatively short, even though I was 30 chips. Not
Much to do. Sometimes you just have to wait when every hand somebody goes all in. You can't do any magic, so I just waited for some hands and got it in a standard spot and lost it. So, but still, after the first day, which went horrible, I had to rebuy. Still a pretty good outcome for me.
Well, we kind of heard from him. I think he's disappointed to not still be in the tournament. That's the gist of it.
All in. All in.
There we go.
Good read, James.
And under the gun shove from Carry Cats.
So the question is, has he seen a card better than a queen, or is it the queen all he needed to see?
He maybe just looked at that one. Wouldn't surprise me.
It's the queen of diamonds, don't forget, which is one of the best suits.
Scott Siever calls, putting Cats at risk.
My theory is we're going to see a card bigger than the queen. I honestly think so.
Nope.
Ah, it's suited.
Queen 9 suited is the hand for Cats. Scott Siever is ahead with ace deuce, but it's almost a flip. And last time,
My lucky dealer.
Carrie Katz has made an interesting choice for his fiancee, Cam.
Unluckily for you, they're all the dealers are my lucky dealer.
Carrie Katz, by the way,
I
married,
don't think
6
he's been that lucky
kids.
for you.
Just so you can't see into the future like we can.
Yeah, that's true.
If I won that pot, I was probably only getting second.
So I have that indifferent feeling right now. You remember what we talked about?
You are right. I'm perfect. I think we'll take a chop, right? Start with the flop and talk chops.
All right, I'm not greedy. I'll take
Yeah,
a
I'm
shot.
not greedy either. Let's just chop their antes up.
Cats need something.
no.
There's a diamond in the door.
There's
That's
two
a
diamonds.
lot of something.
5 of diamonds.
So,
I was just thinking the 5 of diamonds
5 of
kills
diamonds would
me.
be very interesting.
Kills, no, it's
Cats has 15 outs right now.
8 of clubs. That's
Scott
interesting.
Siever, a huge believer in
learn
too many
interesting
out syndrome,
I'm
though.
the favorite now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
55%
puts you
favorite.
I don't know
big trouble
I
now.
couldn't tell you the percentage.
It puts you in big trouble being the favorite.
Yeah,
See?
you're right. Now I'm in big trouble. No, you're the. All right, now I'll take a chop, but I don't think it's very possible.
I offered pre and on the flop.
All right, sometimes you got to win on the river.
Seems to be the case a lot of the time.
Yeah. How about a queen?
The river
Queen. Ooh, that
is
worked.
a 9,
Just as good as a queen.
and Carry Cats will double up through Scott Seaver. Still short, though.
Scott Seaver went to Brown. He's probably still paying off those student loans.
And one says, the PokerStars TV app works awesome on my Asus tablet. Watching via HDMI on my big screen like a big boy.
Lucky dealer comes through.
Other tablets are available
For those of you
on my website.
still asking about the password, by the way, it is Blom. If you want to play in the PCALive free roll, we had that question about what time zone we're in. We're Eastern time right now, and at 7:15 Eastern time, that free roll will get underway. $1,500 in the prize pool. Get yourself registered now by using the password Blom.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Karen.
Kerry Katz, huge, doubled up to 14 bigs. It's a whole new tournament for him. He can start calling flops, calling turns, folding rivers.
William Reynolds, a former PCA high roller champion, has tweeted that on December the 21st, Doc Sands declared on Twitter he was going to win either the 100K, the 25K, or the 10K at the PCA with no chop. The doctor plays to win.
Dr. No Chop, reaching for chips.
130.
That would have been a great
Rates.
James Bond poker movie, Dr. No Chop.
The last time James Bond tried to do poker, it was Casino Royale, so let's not go back there.
What about Honor Majesty's secret cash game wait list?
You win.
Let's raise and take it for Sands.
The spy who shoved on me.
Please stop. Ian asks, are players allowed to review TV on the break? Yes, they are. I mean, the information's out there in the public domain. When you see it, they see it, so be it.
And trust me, they're all reviewing TV on the break because season 3 of Downton Abbey premiered last night. Am I right, people?
Sadly, Lee Jones, our time is up and we have to say goodbye.
Well, it's been great. I'm sure that you're going to get somebody more beautiful and more interesting on the show, but it's really been fun. And actually, I will be back later. Like a bad burrito, I will be back.
And your lucky dealers.
As soon as I mentioned Downton Abbey, Lee's out of here.
I have to say, I like the idea of Lee being called the bad burrito.
The bad burrito. Lee Bad Burrito Jones. Thanks a lot.
We're going to start that now. That's going to be your nickname, and you're going to be stuck with it.
Excellent. Just what I needed. Thanks, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Lee.
Our thanks to Lee, the Bad Burrito Jones, head of home games at PokerStars, as he departs the commentary booth, and we see the VPIP of the 4 remaining players, and no real surprise that Scott Seaver is the highest and Kerry Katz is the lowest.
By the way, every burrito on the island of Atlantis, a bad burrito.
I haven't tried one yet. Obviously, I shouldn't.
It's the only place I've ever seen hot dog use as a burrito filler. The hot dog and conch burrito, I don't recommend it.
Okay. Feel free to count it.
I'll
watch.
Bearing in mind, of course, that it's quite late in Europe,
Or if you really.
Inga Christofferson tweets that it's time for a night snack. Yogurt and fritters with jam and icing sugar.
It's a $40 snack here.
It's almost
Might
queued
be a
up
little
another
much
round
to
of
go
your
here.
game.
To be honest.
All right, I'll give it
I
to
haven't
you.
looked at my hand. Seems like it might be a little much.
Probably should have shoved that.
Kerry Katz shoves his ace
Bad fold.
or folds it. Yeah.
He folded.
I just assumed he would have been shoving his ace.
No, he folded.
Folds it small to big. This is when I'd like to roll out the word unorthodox.
Which is used in a euphemistic context.
Unusual. Bizarre. Whoa, boy. Phil Hellmuth playing open-faced Chinese against Robert Duvall. We really brought out the big guns for this tournament.
By the way, Helmuth did play this 100K event. It's the
I'm
first
sorry.
time he's come to the PCA to play this tournament, and
Duvall's dealing. Excuse me. I'm sorry, James.
he lasted a whole 20 minutes. He did his standard showing up about 6 levels into play, and then bust after 20 minutes and was out of
He
here.
did his not-so-standard busting after 20 minutes because the guy knows how to win tournaments. Let's be honest. Won his 13th bracelet in the fall. Good boy. We've got a flip situation developing.
These two have tangled a lot today. Shulman will defend his big with ace-queen.
Interesting just call.
No sense in playing a massive flip now when there's a guy sitting on 730,000.
Scott Seaver can't hate that flop.
This probably goes check call though. I can't imagine Shulman's going to fold the ace-queen to 1-bet.
Shulman is going to have the best hand here a decent amount of the time. Sometimes if you call in this spot, you can get your opponent to just shut down. My guess is that's probably not going to happen here. Just reevaluate on the turn.
345 total.
Depending on how bad this turn card is for Scott. Wow, Nick Shulman raises. Scott, not a believer.
I put in a green chip too much.
That's right.
So Seaver calling Shulman's raise. We will go to the turn.
This turn suddenly got even more interesting.
Does Shulman now fire? What do you think about that check raise, Joe? Kind of.
Check.
I mean, once he check raises and then checks here in the turn, it feels like he's kind of giving up.
Do you think it's a spot where check raising really has much value? I mean,
Check.
I mean, maybe Scott folds his total air hands that you're beating anyway.
Check.
Chuck.
gets checked down, and a pair of fours will be good.
I mean, is there any chance you're value raising that flop? Probably not.
Anywho, I think it's time for another round of how much does it cost?
How much does it cost to check raise Scott Seaver? All right, we're kicking things up a notch. Little hint there. We're talking now. We've moved on to Nobu.
Oh, dear.
We moved on to Nobu. And we want to know how much a mojito costs a Nobu, which I pulled a classic Stapes move. James and I went out for beers at the Marina Bar.
Yes.
For which I paid.
2 beers.
And then we moved on to mojitos
At
Nobu, for which I was like, oh, James, looks like it's your round. Significantly more expensive.
So I am well aware of how much a mojito, in fact, I'm well aware how much 2 mojitos cost.
And not only is
at
James
Nobu.
aware, but his wife is well aware now, since it's going to show up on their credit card statement.
Indeed. So how much is a mojito at Nobu? Have a guess. Remember, it's the closest without going over. Price is Right rules apply.
First 5 guesses will be submitted to the competition.
The Real Poker Guru on Twitter says, good luck to everyone still in the PCA. Of course, it's day 1A of the main event today. Enjoying watching the live stream. Austin Powers impersonation, please, for the lulz.
Oh, behave. How was that?
Terrible.
So close. I'm working on it. By the way, the prices that we're listing for these things are just the listed price, not including the 15% gratuity that's added to almost everything.
The compulsory 15%
That's right.
gratuity.
Which I'm fine with. I don't mind it being compulsory. I think that the people who
I
work
do,
in the
because-
service industry deserve a tip.
Yeah, they deserve a tip if they provide good service. It
And the
should be
service here has been
automatic.
just fine.
I would agree with you, it has. However, I would still like the option to not reward service if it's poor.
I check. I have a 6.
It's on you.
No one wanted to play big pots right now. A lot of checking it down to the river.
Sorry, I forgot it was on me.
No worries.
I'm always showing
Well,
first.
Kerry Katz's 11 big blinds may have something to do with that.
Okay, we've got some suggestions here.
We have 5 suggestions.
Last one.
More than 5, but I'm going to do the top 5 because that's what you told me to. Andrew, $50.
What?
Christopher, $16.
Yeah.
Detroit on deck, $14.49. Mike, $20. Connor, $7.20.
Mike, you, unfortunately, were over by just $1 American, which means Christopher, with his $14.49.
No, 16.
Sorry, $16 by Christopher is the closest without going over. $19 for Mojito, although no one got the truly correct answer, which is that the trick is you go to the bar with a PokerStars executive and get them to pay for you on the company card, and then it costs 0, which is what we did with the next 7 consecutive rounds.
130. 130.
Also, James managed to order a rather expensive shot of cognac at the end of the meal.
It wasn't the most expensive cognac on the menu.
James dared me to order the $200 shot of King Louis, and I was so close to doing it. But I was like, is a $200 shot of cognac really worth my entire career? And the answer was no.
It would have amused me.
Terry Katz, for some reason, again, involved in a hand that he didn't shove.
Why is he playing post-flop poker?
I mean, he did check his big blind. And he does have the best hand.
True.
Is he going to get blown off this one? That is the question. There we go. He gets aggressive. He gets aggro on the turn. Bluffs Doc Sands off his queen high with the best hand.
I love the fact that Tomas has just guessed on Twitter that a mojito at Nobu would be $7. Having just told you that a bottle of Fiji water is $7.50, do you really think a mojito is going to be cheaper than that?
Look, rum and mint very cheap on the island, James.
And that's the island we're talking about. This is actually Nassau. We're actually on Paradise Island, which is across the bridge. This is the main island. Full of colourful characters.
Like drummers on cell phones, and buses without doors, and horses on the wrong side of the road.
It tilts you that they drive on the wrong side of the road here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's fine. I just keep my eyes closed while I'm in the car. Did I mention that a couple years ago I was in a taxi cab here where a cab driver on the way home from a restaurant stopped to pick up his girlfriend on the way home. Had himself a little date, didn't want to come all the way back to this side of the island. Had to pick up his girlfriend on the way. She was lovely.
Philippe raises a valid point on Twitter. He says, so hang on a second, our rake pays for your mojitos.
I have no witty retort.
You just nodded as if to say, yeah.
You make it sound so cheap when you put it like that, though. By the way, our rake. You don't pay any rake for your free roll, Philip.
Exactly. There is free money to be won in that tournament commencing at 7:15 this evening, Eastern Time. So that's 2 hours and 20 minutes from now. Get yourself registered using the password BLOM. And those of you saying the password doesn't work, clearly can't spell. BLOM, all lowercase.
I have the proclaimed cheese allegiance. That goes a long way at 100K final tables.
All in. Confirmed. All in.
Terry Katz finally shoving.
Ace-8 is the hand.
You swore allegiance to me? Well, I heard him come out with it and then kind of try to retract it a little bit. He's like, I like all of them.
Nick has just tuned in on Twitter and wonders why no players are wearing sombreros or colourful robes.
He might have the wrong non-European country. And by colorful robes, does he mean ponchos? Sombreros and ponchos? I think Doc Sands' recent reference to the allegiance of cheese is referring to Tom Marchese. who's on the rail there. Keeping close watch of Doc's girlfriend. Maybe me and Tom can trade places for a second. Be fine with me.
Ace-9 suited the hand for Doc Sands.
He's been acting uncharacteristically quickly this tournament. We appreciate that, Doc. Thank you.
Raise and take it. That was hand number 63 of this final table, which has already seen 50% of the field eliminated.
I'm working on a new Doc Sands joke. You want to hear it, James? Ready? Here we go.
Oh no, please.
Hit.
What's
up, Doc?
Was met with appreciation.
What do you think? Hold on. What's up, Doc? Good enough for TV? I'll put it on the short list. I'm putting it on the short list.
I'm going to make sure that never makes
No, it's what's up, Doc?
No, it's Joe. It's never making the edit.
You guys thought Elvis was dead. Guess what? Not true. Tupac's also dealing at another table.
Yes, sir.
Robbie Thompson keeps calling him David Sands. He didn't spend 7 years in medical school to be called David.
We have already clarified that he's not actually a real doctor. Why is he actually called Doc Sands? Do you know?
I probably should, though. Sure, someone will tell us. Hashtag it PCALive.
How much do you have roughly, Nick?
3.2.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So Doc's under the gun raise, called by Shulman.
James, what do we call those little pictures, little graphics with their pictures on them?
Photographs.
I think in Nick Shulman's photograph, he looks a lot like Antonio Esfandiari.
Oh heaven, I hope we put the right photo in there. Yep, it is.
The glasses and the goatee. I mean, I wouldn't mind looking like a guy that won an 18 mil ball. Doc Sands checks top pair out of position. See if he decides to take the lead here. Start getting a little value from his top pair. Not really a ton there for him to be afraid of. There we go. That's the Doc Sands we know and love. Spends more time in the tank than most of the sharks here. Be prepared for that joke to be repeated. Doc does start betting for value. Nick lets it go.
More information from William Reynolds. But while Doc Sands and his fiancée left town, Tom Marchese and Jason Kuhn and me hosted a party at his place, running up 10K in damages. Nice observation here from Ponutro Pro. He says, well, all those inflated prices, I'm surprised the buy-in for the 100K wasn't 475K, gratuity not included.
Nice one.
Raised to 125. Raised to 125,000. That makes the call. On the button.
Nick Shulman's bumped it up with ace-10. Scott Seaver, excuse me, calling on the button, 2 3s. Doc Sands also calls.
Nine of spades, king of clubs, seven of hearts. Check.
Of the cards we know.
Checks. Scott checks.
So all three players check the flop.
Finally, somebody picks up a pair.
As you say, we don't know Sands' hand. He could already had a pair on the flop, or even pre-flop.
Checks.
Nick Schulman once again hitting a 10 on the turn.
That's 250,000. That's full.
250, 250.
10 good as far as Scott Seaver's concerned.
Green tea.
It seems that Doc Sands is the main proponent of the idea that you don't show your whole cards to the camera until the hand is over. Thanks, Doc.
Yet another doctor with a God complex. Big shock.
Are there any spare bananas left?
My guess is that 10 was good.
I'll take a hot green tea with nothing in it.
According to Rob on Twitter, Doc Sands is called Doc Sands because he picked that name as an online handle. Is that really the true story? Because that's really boring.
I'm good for now.
And that boring story checks out for most online poker players.
Really healthy. Well, the depressing part is I actually do eat really healthily.
The what part?
Depressing.
So we can see the hands they've played so far. Sands with a very good pre-flop record, 12-1, and tied at 5-5 post-flop. Schulman has a winning record pre and a losing record post-flop.
You think they think Kerry Katz is tight? 7-0 pre-flop.
Button's good.
Thank you. Gotta walk.
As far as the photographs are concerned, or as Christopher says on Twitter, avatar, we could call them, those little photographs.
Thank you, Christopher.
Ashley says Schulman's photo looks like Adrian Brody, not Antonio Esfandiari.
Adrian Brody, circa the jacket. You know, I like that movie Predators, but I think that Adrian Brody was a little silly at times, trying to play such a tough guy. I really like that movie he did where he played the teacher called Detachment, even though it got completely destroyed by the critics.
Most of his movies are pretty interesting. Anywho, what's Doc Sands going to do here?
Other than tank?
Raises to 130,000 with pocket seven. Schulman with pocket aces.
Yeah. You pretty much have to re-raise a button raise. I don't think at this stage you can get away from a pair. Certainly not a pair of aces.
Hang on a second, Seaver looks interested. So Schulman has 3-bet.
385.
He's made it 385,000 total. Seaver wanted to count on the bet. What's he got?
Bad time to make a move. Let's hope he's got a hand.
If he does make a move, it could save Doc Sands. Just to let you know the stacks at the start of the hand, well, you can see now that Shulman started the hand with 3.4 million, Siva playing 2.9 million. Well, Siva gives it up, so the action is now back on Sands.
Really bad news for Sands if Scott folded 2 sevens. You know, this is one of those spots where you can go crazy with 2 sevens if you want, but you can justify a call in position with 2 sevens based on implied odds. Depending on what the board texture is, there's a pretty good chance if you flop a set, you can
385.
Get it all. You know, that small blind is such an obvious spot for a 3-bet. If you're going to do it light, that's where it happens pretty often.
Here comes the 4-bet.
See how big the 4-bet is.
Oh, no, he calls.
Yeah, I think that that makes a little more sense.
King 9-5 with 2 clubs. 2 overcards to Sands 7s. Shulman first to speak as the pre-flop betting lead.
The only question is how much this bet's going to be for. Maybe going to try to set himself up so he can shove. Even a club hitting doesn't really scare him.
$440,000, so roughly half the pot.
Tough spot for Doc now. He knows that Nick's going to continue with a lot of hands. I think that hands that haven't beat do make up a pretty wide range of that. Good fold.
I want to say a quick hello to Rob on Twitter, who says, playing poker while watching poker and listening to poker. I need a girlfriend. One serious point about Twitter.
Me and you both. You want to split one?
The hashtag you should be using is PCALive. Now, I just want to make it clear, that's hashtag PCALive. I'm acutely aware that there is an account on Twitter called @PCALive, which is a Twitter channel that specializes in alerting people to the live streaming of police chases. So please don't tweet @PCALive because you're annoying them. Use the hashtag instead. And while we're on that subject, there is a Twitter account called @EPTLive, which is not affiliated to us in any way. So again, any information that they spout out should be ignored.